Live from the Polar Express, this is Derailed Trains of Thoughts. Welcome, everyone, to episode 136 of Derailed Trains of Thoughts. My name is Timothy Deal.
My name is Nick Hayden.
And this is your premier podcast on storytelling.
For the creator and the consumer.
Welcome, Nick.
Hi, it is Christmas time.
It is. Hey, we're on a fancy train here.
This is a good way to spend the holidays.
Yeah, it's real dressed up real snazzy. Make sure you get some hot chocolate.
Okay, happily.
It's delicious, and the waiters will sing a pretty cool song along.
I'm already feeling at home. There's again, good spot to be for December.
I mean, I will say the people here do look a little uncanny-ish.
Yeah.
That's the one downside. I mean, the landscape here is beautiful, that we're driving by all the snow, way more snow than we have in Indiana.
Yes, that's completely true.
At least of this recording. We had more snow in November, weirdly enough.
Yeah, and Thanksgiving was our Christmas, apparently, as far as weather went.
Yeah, it seems that way. Everyone at school ready for the break?
Yes. You could tell the day when suddenly, now they're clocking out. And so
you're like, oh, we're done.
We're done.
Fun. I remember those days. A little different for me because I was homeschooled.
Yeah, to be a little, I'm sure you had the same thing, but it's a little different than you have an entire school that's slowly
winding down
or winding up, depending on your context.
I mean, even college was like that to a degree.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We had to get through finals.
Yep. Well, thank you folks for joining us.
We'll see you next time.
End of We're here at the tail end of the month, hopefully right before Christmas if this episode gets out soon enough. So thank you for making some time in your holiday schedule for your premier podcast on storytelling for the creator and the consumer.
Yeah. And we'll throw a plug in here. If you've not listened to Let's Finally Watch This, the final kind of epilogue episode comes out probably a few days after this.
Well, yes,
or maybe
after Christmas.
Yeah.
December 30th.
Yep.
So be on the lookout for that. We have finished our run-through of 10 regular episodes of the movies from 1922 all the way to 2012. So if you want to know what movies we watched, go check that out on your favorite podcatcher or on our website, Derailed Trains of Thought. But anyway, Nick, folks did not come here for another commercial.
What? Why not? This is only commercials today. We ran the whole thing out.
But haven't you listened to Charlie Brown? Christmas is not supposed to be commercial.
Oh, that's true.
Even though it can be sometimes. Anyway, but what we're really here for is to talk about storytelling. So let's do that with Story School. Nick, I don't know if you've noticed this, but a popular theme of Christmas specials, holiday movies and such is the need to believe.
To believe? Wait, belief as a major theme in entertainment? I don't know if I've ever seen that.
Yes, well, it does.
It does exist?
Up.
Okay.
It does exist. It's particularly popular in kids' stories, movies, TV shows, for whatever reason.
Yes. And even young adult stuff to a certain extent.
Yeah, depending.
On the genre.
Yeah. Back in the days of Once Upon a Time, this was a big thing. I mean, and sometimes to cool effects. I mean, the character Henry we were quite fond of, and he was known as a true believer.
A true believer. So define true believer here.
Okay, well, I mean, looking at the topic broadly, it would be nice to talk about how this, as a trope or as a theme, can be used in a cheesy way, but I think it'd also be interesting to look for ways that the idea of the need for belief can be done well in popular fiction.
Okay, I can see that.
So it'll be interesting to see. But anyway, the true believer, I think, well, when it came to Henry, he was the one, especially in season 1, that really believed that all the residents of Storybrooke were residents from a fairy tale land.
So, I mean, in most stories, if there's a character who's the true believer, he's usually the good guy.
Yeah.
And this is probably an exaggeration. They often are believing something that is almost contrary to common sense and what anyone else would think.
Yeah, it's like some sort of outside the norm normal, common sense or normal wisdom.
Usually there's some sort of fantasy element, whether it's a Santa Claus or a fairy or a whole nother land.
Something supernatural or fantastical.
Curses or, yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess why do you think this is such an appealing trope theme? Why does it keep showing up?
I do wonder, and it'd be interesting to compare this with media from other countries. I don't know whether it's more of a Western theme than like if it would show up in Asian cinema or other things. I mean, if it would be that it comes from the West, I would associate that with Christianity's deep roots here.
Okay, I would agree with that. That there's rightly or wrongly the idea that faith is a primary mover in a person's life.
Yeah.
Seeps into all the culture.
Yeah. There's all kinds of things about Christianity that have become a part of Western culture, even when Western culture doesn't acknowledge Christianity as truth. But belief, faith, hope, these are very important things to Christianity and to other religions as well. But I know Christianity the best, and I know it does talk about these things.
And that's kind of the major background of Western society.
Yeah. So I think our culture has inherited that. I do think, again, positive aspects of it, as much as we have kind of ridiculed some of these ideas before, like the believe in yourself, you just believe in yourself, you can do it sort of thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, also acknowledging that positive thinking is a useful thing.
It is. And there is a certain amount of like, oh, I can do this and I believe I can, that it helps. Is there a scene? I feel like there's a scene kind of like this in the first Marvel Spider-Man movie.
Oh, with Peter Parker?
With Peter Parker, where he finally, he pulls his strength out to save someone, and
That's an interesting point. I mean, Spider-Man 2 plays with this for a while. He doesn't want to be Spider-Man anymore, and so the powers kind of fade away. But then the more he, finds that he needs it, he wants it, the powers are back.
Yeah.
So I guess that's
I don't know.
a little different from belief, but similar.
Yeah.
But I think there is an idea where they say about positive thinking and belief that the more you believe in something about yourself, the more you set that as a goal for yourself, the more likely you are to be able to make that a reality.
Because it's the truth that how you look at yourself does matter. So you're right. The positive aspect, no pun intended, pun intended, I guess, is that positive thinking does help, that it has good benefits. And so we got faith from Christianity, we have faith from that. And I think there's a sense of, in a lot of modern Western shows, the sense of, I gotta fix myself first before I can fix anyone else.
Yeah.
I think there's some of that faith, like Dumbo, just use the
like a placebo. It's
yeah.
You don't need the feather. I just made that whole thing happen.
There is no spoon. That's not quite the same. That's a different thing. But so I guess those are about positive aspects.
But if positive thinking is so good, then what have we been picking apart?
Why do we keep
making fun of them?
When we used to watch Once Upon a Time, we always call it Disney theology, and we always kind of just what is this? I think some of it's this for me is the fact that Christians believe faith is a good thing, but so often in the way Western media talks about it, faith is not in a particular thing necessarily. It's just sort of like my will, like my spiritual willpower. And it's basically magic at that point.
Yeah, if it's pushed too far. I mean, sometimes the problem with you just got to believe talk is that they're not being very specific in what are we supposed to believe in.
No, exactly. What are you believing in? And sometimes then the other problem is, say they're believing in something, it makes sense in the context, but if you move it out at all, you're like, well, everyone's right to doubt that. If some guy came to me and said, yeah, the fairy tale land exists, and if you don't do something, the fairies are going to die, you're like, you need to go see a psychologist.
Well, and it's a conundrum when it comes to Christmas stuff. A lot of these things are all about believing in Santa.
Yep.
And I'm totally fine with stories about Santa.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell my kids to really believe in Santa. I don't really have that plan.
And what are you believing in? That he exists? That you need present? You got to be good over... it gets foggy.
It is. I mean... How you deal with make-believe is a whole question you could have with parents. I mean, I know Mr. Rogers was very clear. He had a land of make-believe, and he used it. He was very specific in the way he treated make-believe and how he treated real life, which is different from the way Sesame Street would handle things. Like when Mr. Rogers was going to have Big Bird on his show, he really wanted to show Carol Spinney getting in and out of the costume. And Carol Spinney was like, no, I'm not going to do that. So that's why Big Bird only appeared in the land of make-believe.
Yeah.
Whereas Muppets hang out in Sesame Street all the time. And it was all about this kind of like interplay between fantasy and real life. And not that Jim Henson was never particular about not letting puppeteers be seen.
Yeah.
He kind of had this aspect of the fantasy and the reality will always kind of co-inhabit. And it's true. If you ever watch the interview with him with Kermit on his hand, your eyes would always immediately gravitate toward Kermit.
Yeah.
And as Kermit would say, who cares what the bearded guy is doing?
Exactly.
That's kind of a side tangent, but I've always found that dichotomy fascinating because on the one hand, just thinking about, I'm not a parent yet, but when I become one, wanting them to know that there's certain things that are real and certain things that are not, but I really like the idea of letting them
make
play.
believe's a good thing. Yeah, playing and having imagination and living that imagination. There's nothing wrong with that as long as age changes, but like there's a separation between what is we're playing and what is real truth.
Mm-hmm. And I've also often wondered how someone like Madeline LaIngle, who is very much into not telling your children to, not make stories as if that's like a terrible thing. I'd be very curious to see how she like differentiates those things.
Yeah, that's true.
Or like, I don't know, this Chesterton or George MacDonald.
Yeah.
How someone like George MacDonald will talk about that kind of stuff too, because they seem to like blend the fantasy a lot more. But I don't know.
Well, here's a question. It's very interesting to compare, say, now that you brought up some of these Christian writers, compare some of these fantasy worlds and like, you just got to believe, and versus like when Narnia and they come back, they're like, Lucy's lying. And then the professor doesn't say, well, do you just believe her? Like, he uses logic. He's like, look, let's figure out what's true.
That's a good point.
And then Lewis is set up in such a way so that Narnia is true. It's not, again, that's, I guess, Henry from Once Upon a Time. Mm-hmm. But they never use that argument so much as like, you just got to understand and trust me. Again, trust is a good thing. I mean, believing in something, there's two different ways to understand it. One is believing something is real. I got to realize it's real. And then there's believing something which I trust in that thing. And I think those get blended sometimes. Yeah,
maybe not in a healthy way.
Or at least in a very hand-waving sort of way.
Yeah. I mean, I think is part of the crux here, isn't it? Like, I think even with stories dealing with Santa, it's a fantasy story so that it makes sense within the context of that story.
Yeah.
That like, yes, in this world, Santa is real. Of this movie, that Santa is a real thing. Great. But I think the problem sometimes becomes if you're trying to make that the lesson of the story, then it's like, what does this mean exactly?
So wait, we're using something that's not real to teach you to have faith in something. It's weird.
Yeah.
And maybe you're not supposed to take it that seriously, but it happens often enough. At some point, you either just ignore it, which I'm not sure is healthy, or you're like, we need to talk about this.
Yeah. Take a movie like The Santa Claus with Tim Allen. I think the thing you can learn from that is there's a father-son relationship here. I don't know. Like, you don't take Santa Claus too serious. It's supposed to be heartwarming.
Yeah.
But the message I take away from it is not, there's this whole system set up so that if something ever happens to Santa, that there'll be another one. So I can rest assured that Santa will always be there.
Well, and it's interesting because I feel like I'm not seeing a ton of more modern Christmas movies, but I think they kind of know that it's a fantasy world now. It's not like, let's say, Miracle on 34th Street. Which is really trying to push the the whole courtroom. I mean, that's the entire thing. Like,
true.
Trust the little kid. The little kid knows.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because often you get the little kids in there who are the faith ones. And you always have this dilemma between, yes, kids have a lot of childlike innocence and faith, and it makes a good story point. But on the other hand, what are we learning, Well,
what do we learn when the kid is a smart one
Kind of a non-Christmas famous example of this would be, especially in the play of Peter Pan.
Oh, yeah.
Where you got Tinkerbell. Mm-hmm. And in that case, it works pretty well because you're in this Never Never Land, and fairies are, but in other contexts outside the play, like, people keep pushing that idea, like, you just got to believe. You just, but you can't rewrite reality with belief. I think that's what I get most frustrated about. Like, there is a time, I think, where you follow things. Faith is hoping for things you can't see.
Yeah.
That would be the Christian definition, or trusting things you can't see. But that doesn't mean anything you can't see you can have faith in, it'll just work out.
Right.
So it's interesting in stories, though, because stories have different worlds. They have different contexts. They have different characters. They have different rules.
Yeah. Well, even the idea of Christian faith does get complicated in some ways because on one hand, yes, faith is belief in something we have not seen.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's stories in the Bible about people who see something happen and therefore have faith.
It's based in evidences. It's not just hearsay. It's not, I mean, there's eyewitnesses. There's all kinds of stuff.
It's not in a vacuum.
He's not in a vacuum.
But it's still a matter of faith because there were other people who saw, like in Jesus' day, there are other people who saw Jesus' miracles that didn't believe in him. Mm-hmm. And so the Bible kind of talks about the idea that there is evidence, but there is still like a matter of for the person to have faith. I mean, Abraham had faith and it was credited to him as righteousness. And that says a lot.
And I think a lot, and again, we're a little moving away from stories for a second, but a lot of that faith is especially in, here's what you've seen and known. Will you trust it for things that haven't happened yet? Yeah. So, like you saw Jesus, you saw the miracles. Will you trust that he's coming back?
Yeah.
That he will complete what he started? Abraham, he talked to you. He gave this promise to you. Will you trust that it's good?
Yeah. Israelites, he led you through the Red Sea. He did all the stuff in Egypt. He got you out of here. Will you trust him to rescue you again?
So I think the best use of faith in story runs a little bit like that, where it's almost like when the character says, look, I know this guy. Have faith that he'll get. This happens sometimes in, like, say, lots of stuff. I've been watching some Doctor Who again. Doctor Who is like, I know the Doctor. He'll pull this off.
Yeah.
Now, he's just a man, whatever. Well, not man, he's a Time Lord. But that idea that we've seen previous things, the faith becomes rooted in something true in the world. Mm-hmm. Again, when you get through things like, what is the kid trusting, then it's a little weirder because they've seen it, but, like, the parents have no context for it. The adults have no context, and then they're supposed to trust the kid.
Yeah.
And it gets a little more dicey.
The audience wants to be on the kid's side because they've seen what the kid has seen.
Yeah.
But the parent is fully within their rights to doubt. It's a question.
But they're like, how dare you doubt? Trust the kid.
Yeah, yeah. I don't remember. It's been long enough since we saw Once Upon a Time. A lot of it, Henry is trying to get Emma to believe that she is this fairy tale princess, essentially. But I don't remember there's details like that where, like, she sees things and she can kind of take it either way and she has a hard time trusting it.
I think they do add some of that in from memory in season 1, but it's very,
it's foggy. It's been a long time now since that season, and we haven't rewatched it as much as we have lost.
Yeah. No, for a variety of reasons.
One other example of faith, although in this case is more about hope, which they're similar.
They're related.
That I thought it'd be fun to talk about. And it handles it in a way that I don't know many other stories do. So in DC Comics, there's the Green Lantern Corps, which, if you're not familiar with the Green Lanterns, they're like space police. The Green Lantern, he's got the ring that is able to make energy projections. It could be like a shield. It can be a sword. It could basically whatever you need it to be. Enables the Green Lantern to fly through space and fly in general, stuff like that. Well, Jeff Johns, during his run of Green Lantern comics, he introduced the idea of the emotional spectrum.
Okay, yeah, with the different colors.
The different colors, yeah, because the Green Lanterns had always run on willpower. A lot of their energy was directly related to their will to make something happen. So the idea with emotional spectrum is that each of these emotions has its own power and its own color. And so there were all these other colored rings, like some of them were bad, like the yellow lanterns were the traditional. Yellow had been a traditional enemy against green. It's a comics thing.
Yeah.
And yellow was fear. The red lanterns were rage. But then one of the good colors was blue.
Okay.
The blue lanterns, that represented hope. And the interesting thing about the Blue Lanterns is that their rings could only do very basic things on their own. They could fly, they could travel through space, and some defensive stuff. But their power was greatly amplified when it worked together with will.
Okay.
The idea being that hope is very strong, but if it's just sitting by itself, it's not going to accomplish much. That it needs some sort of other force that it will help propel, and which I thought it was a super cool idea for a superhero group. Like, basically they work best as servants, and they're healers and stuff like that. But anyway, as an idea with hope that one of their mantras is very much that all will be well, the world will be made right.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty Christian idea, but very interesting that at least for me, that it's like faith without works is dead, essentially.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool.
It was one of the few times I can think of that faith or hope specifically is talked about in very general terms, but is saying really interesting things alongside it.
Mm-hmm. What do you think? I think there's a subcategory we haven't touched a ton on, which is the believe in yourself.
Yeah, we mentioned it. We haven't gone too deep into it. I mean, again, it has the good side of that is that positive thinking stuff. The bad side of it is that it's bordering on self-determination.
I mean, it really is like willpower becomes
central.
Yeah. It's that very, I don't know, I'm using the right Nietzschean sort of, will is all things. Mm. And again, I feel like this happens in a lot of superhero X-Men sort of style things where it's like,
even in anime.
Or anime. I mean, anime, anything that you have some sort of power. Uh-huh. And the power depends largely on, basically, you can do it. Mm. And I think people like that. I think we really like that story because it's that idea that if I just push a little harder, I can do it. If I work harder, if I think harder, if I believe in it. It's the whole, what was that book that went viral a while ago? The Secret? You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Well, basically, you hope. Actually, there's a thing called manifesting. Do you know about manifesting?
It sounds vaguely familiar.
It was going on various social media, but basically it's kind of name and claim it. The idea that you can manifest it. And I guess on TikTok, there's this thing where you imagine yourself whispering in the ear of whoever you want something, like to your boss, like, I need a raise. And that you believe it with all your heart and you envision saying it and that they'll listen to it.
Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure I've heard of people using this term as like a joke. But
yeah, no, but it's a real thing. And a lot of people like it, but I think because we want to be able to meld the world to our own desires. Uh-huh. And I think a lot of these stories revel in that. And I feel like that's American, but I feel like that is also Japanese.
Yeah, it's a thing. The
individual can determine the fate of themselves at the very least, if not more than that.
Yeah. And like many ideas, it is based or inspired by truth.
Yes.
I mean, the Proverbs have lots of passages that are about the virtues of hard work and training the body to do various things. But yeah, go too far, it's like, and you can become like God.
Wait, what?
Like,
That's
I mean,
easy.
It's going all the way back to original sin.
Yeah,
and pushed to its limit.
And I think that's what's so fascinating about this whole like faith issue in stories is that on one hand, it could be a great exploration of what it means to work with the hope, be in a relationship with another, with a group, with a higher power, with other things. On the same wavelength, it can also be an exploration of how we just want to keep making ourselves into gods. Mm-hmm. And it's all around that same idea. And partly because the word faith or believe in yourself is such a undefined term.
Yeah. It sounds generic enough to be non-controversial. Mm-hmm. And in that sense, it can come across as shallow because you're like, okay, believe in yourself. This is something that we can all agree with, right? Yeah. Well, let's put some clarifications on that.
Trust your heart.
But I mean, it goes back to, I always forget who said this, but it's an idea that is stuck in my head for a while now, that every heresy is a truth taken too far.
Yeah.
And I think how faith is used falls along with that.
So maybe because these are the rant and rave about the bad versions, and we've talked about some good versions. What do you think, say you're a creator, what sort of interesting things have not been explored as much, or things that we could use to use this trope in a new or fresh or helpful way?
I think as a general term, it is more useful to have something specific that you're having a character believe in.
Mm-hmm. And outside of himself.
Outside of themselves, preferably.
Okay. Yes.
Because the self is such, wow, this is going to sound really existentialist, but the self itself is such a vague concept.
I mean, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're all constantly rediscovering ourselves in some way.
Because like, even say, let's take a dumb example. Even if you say trust yourself, what you really mean is trust in your ability to fly because you've done it before. Yeah. And that's different than trust yourself. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, you have the trusting your ability or trusting in a past experience is a little different or a little more defined. I feel like defining it helps.
Yeah, that's true. Like someone who's having anxiety before performing in front of an audience, they have to like trust that they put in the time of the practice for, if say they're playing a musical instrument, they put in the time to practice it. They know the piece. They just kind of have to build up in themselves the confidence to go out there and perform it.
So it is trust yourself, but that's different than just sort of like this magical, I pulled my best version out. It's trusting what you, or anything, even with other people, or you say, I trusting in my friend or my father or my coworker or my brother in arms. Then you're telling the audience something about loyalty or about family relationships or about, because it's the opposite, I guess, of one of our pet peeves in stories, where it's like where the best friends are like, I can't believe you did that. I trusted you. But it's the opposite, and that would be a better story, I think.
Yeah, more satisfying.
Yeah.
So that's one way to fix the interpersonal belief trust issue. What are some other to go back to your question?
Yeah.
Some other things that's, again, I think the idea of having something specific to believe in is good. There's always a bit of a challenge in having stories. I think it's a good thing to have in stories about having faith in God specifically. It does become a bit of a challenge to also, we've talked about the challenge of having God in your stories.
Yeah, to do it well is hard.
To do it well is hard. So does it come off as deus ex machina, even though sometimes God does just show up and do things, but it can feel contrived done the wrong way?
One of the ways I guess I've done it, there's two ways, and these are not by far exhaustive. One, I think providence is a nice way to do it in a story, in the sense that it's not deus ex machina, but you can see like things are like Esther. Things are arranging themselves, and obviously, but it's not like, boom, I just jumped in the last minute and saved it. Now, there's ways to pull that off.
Yeah.
But you got to work to make that work.
Yeah. It has to be a very specific kind of story, which I always think for your example is local man struck by lightning.
Yeah. And I think here's the other thing. If you're going to do something about faith in God, you got to make that a major thing. It's got to be the crux of the story. If your climax is going to be around that, it's got to be everywhere else before that.
Yeah, I agree.
And I found that, I think I've just done this naturally, that I have a lot of stories about people trying to figure out what they believe in. Because to me, that's an easier story to write, I guess. and plus, then if you get there with the character, then when they start trusting, you've wrestled with them.
Okay.
I feel like Fred is this way. Sorry, audience, you have not read Sir and Fred because you can't at this point.
Well, maybe some of your Sir and Fred enthusiasts have followed you here.
That's true. But like book 3, not even them all read. And that's where a lot of that sort of transition to him trusting in something. But Squire, Obed from The Unremarkable Squire, he trusts in something to begin with, which is first Lance, and then the oath. But he's like, that's not enough either. And then he gets to a god. And I guess I've naturally kind of moved in that direction of that process people have from like, how do I learn to trust in something? Now, I've not written many stories of what happens after that. And I think if I ever finish any more 100 letters, we might get some of that. But some of my short stories have it. Like Local Man Struck by Lightning obviously has, that's almost learning to trust as well, actually.
Yeah, in a way it is.
But in a kind of deus ex machina sort of way.
And that one is available on your website.
That is available. And it is worth reading.
I agree.
One of my first good stories. So that's some of my thoughts. I know there's other ways, but those are some ways I have intuitively found.
We've talked about some interesting ways you could do belief in God, belief in fellow people, even a little bit, again, if you do it the right way, you can even do a belief in your abilities within limitations.
Yeah. I think it's just been overused so much without thinking that's why there's this sort of tiredness, at least with me, about some of it.
Another one that doesn't get done as much these days, which could be interesting to explore, belief in country.
Okay, yeah. Or some ideal.
Some ideal. I think Hamilton gets at this in some ways, maybe not as strongly as other things, because Hamilton is also a biographical musical. But it does play with the idea of we have these ideas to make this country something new, something better, and we're going to work to make that happen.
And I think that can be a really encouraging sort of story. But you're right, we tend to see more stories about the I'm against something versus I'm for something.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I think more building, whatever it is, some idea, whether it's country, patriotism, loyalty, love in a various sense.
Yeah.
And again, I guess even love stories, sometimes we have that I will always find you, or I always, which can be cheesy, but sometimes it's really fun for the viewer or the reader because we all want that sort of trust in the other person.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's sort of a aspirational faith, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe I just struck that. One of the best uses, and again, even the bad ones do this to a certain extent, of this faith is aspirational, being like, I wish I trusted like that.
Yeah.
Even like some of the dumb ones or the ones we don't agree with are like, yeah, I wish I trusted that I could do stuff that much. Or I wish I would trust I had this bookmark that my mom got me ages ago. It was like, trust your crazy dreams and trust your crazy ideas. And that's in the right context, a very helpful, encouraging thing, because the world tends to just beat you down from most of the ideals and most of the, like, oh, we're all humans, we all err, we all make mistakes, so why even bother trusting?
It's funny. As much as the Muppet movie was a very important movie for me, like in high school, I remember I had a phase of it in college, specifically when I went to LA. I think I did a paper where I was probably the most cynical I'd ever been towards the Muppet movie, just in part because I was like, Kermit and they just walk in and they get a contract.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous. That's not how it works. I'm in the midst of learning film and being around all these people. And it's like, this is a hard industry to do anything in. But later, I kind of took a step back. It's like, yeah, but I don't think the Muppets were trying to do a realistic story. That's not what the movie's about.
Yeah.
It's meant to be more uplifting and fun. And yeah, we know that people don't just walk into a studio and get a rich and famous contract. I mean, the fact that it's called Get the Standard Rich and Famous Contract is kind of like a wink at the audience.
Yeah. But I guess then, in a world that everyone has these pipe dreams, you need some realism. But sometimes when you live a world that's very cynical, it's nice to have these. And maybe that's why they keep coming back so often, because it's a very cynical world. And so I think there's a certain amount of this trust yourself, trust others.
Believe in your dreams.
Believe in your dreams that people
don't let your dreams just be dreams. Sorry, anyway.
Just do it. I think people long for that. And I think then as thoughtful creators, we need to find ways to do it that aren't that don't hold weight, that aren't just gossamer. Ooh, I could get fancy words in there. No, but I think, especially say as a Christian creator, you say, look, people are longing for that, but let's give them meat to it and not just friends and, believe in yourself and it'll work.
Yeah, it's a
fine line.
It is a fine line, yeah. You don't want to completely crush that under a weight of cold, harsh cynicism, but I think there's a way that realism can be hopeful. Like, I think we have to thread that needle somehow.
Yeah. And I don't think you'll do it in visual works, but you would hope that as creators or viewers that the body work would find that balance between the aspirational ideals and the how does it work out in the real world.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, I think it's a good place to end.
I agree. Okay, well, hope you listeners enjoyed that. We will move on now to our first soundtrack.
For the first soundtrack, I took a song that was remixed from Octopath Traveler, which is a very good game. It's called By the Flame. The full song's almost 8 minutes, so we're going to just do an excerpt from it. But we don't have time for that, unless it's Glowworm Jim.
That was a very special circumstance. We're not doing that now.
It is remixed by Rosovian. It's based on the theme for the town where the main church is, kind of the location for your cleric character, that they follow the flame. And, so we had a lot of this belief system going for this game.
And I believe this is got kind of a Christmassy feel.
And it does kind of a Christmassy, wintry feel. So for once, I actually followed through with that as well. But hope you enjoy By the Flame.
And we're back.
Welcome.
That was a fun song.
Yeah. Well, and Octopath has great music. So
yeah, I believe it. I recently finished Triangle Strategy, which is another one of those 2D HD games. And
I wonder if it's the same composer or not.
I don't know. Possibly. I know there's a lot of the same team. A lot of the artwork is similar, not just the 2D stuff, but also the like hand-drawn stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Same person, I believe. So anyway, moving on. It is time for one more for this year. Once Upon a Sentence. We've been enjoying this segment this year. I don't think we had anyone send in an answer for our last sentence.
At least as of this recording.
As of this recording, which admittedly has really only been about 2 weeks after the last one came out. But remind us, Nick, what was that sentence?
It was, we are born, we're given just so much food as will keep the breath in our bodies, and those of us who are capable of it are forced to work to the last atom of our strength. And the very instant that our usefulness has come to an end, we are slaughtered with hideous cruelty.
How cheery.
It's Christmas season.
Very festive. Okay, yes. Well, Nick, who wrote that lovely sentence?
George Orwell from Animal Farm.
From Animal Farm.
Which was only on my brain because I was teaching it. So
you're lucky students.
Oh, yes.
No, seriously. I've been meaning to read some more Orwell myself just because it seems becoming more and more relevant. And I know there's some important stuff I haven't actually read completely myself.
I haven't read 1984 yet, so that's a shame on me.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, well, let's move on to, hopefully this will be a more fun sentence, and we'll see if people will recognize this one. Away they all went, 20 couples at once, hands half round and back again the other way, down the middle and up again, round and round in various stages of affectionate grouping. Old top couple always turning up in the wrong place, new top couple starting off again as soon as they got there. All top couples at last, and not a bottom one to help them.
Very nice.
It's a long sentence, but that's the way we tend to like to pick these long running sentences.
It gives you a little more context.
Yes. So anyway, here it is again. Away they all went, 20 couples at once, hands half round and back again the other way, down the middle and up again, round and round in various stages of affectionate grouping. Old top couple always turning up in the wrong place, new top couple starting off again as soon as they got there. All top couples at last, and not a bottom one to help them.
Dare I say,
the stranger? Of course. Of course.
No, there is no dancing or anything remotely fun in The Stranger, from my memory. I should read it. I should actually, it's been like 20 years. I should really read it again and stop making fun of it, and then make fun of it after having read it again.
It's one of those works that will stick with you for 20 years, and I don't know how much of a reminder you really need, but you never know. Anyway, but let us know if you recognize what book that exciting sentence came from. Send us an email at derailedtrains@gmail.com, or send us a direct message through Facebook or Twitter or
carrier pigeon, owl.
Yeah, something like that. Elf, reindeer.
Elf, yeah.
Any of those things. Work. With that, we will move on to our next segment. It came from the interwebs. Okay, Nick.
All right, I'm ready.
Part of me doesn't want to talk about this.
Okay.
But I couldn't not. So. And it is somewhat relevant to our topic. But
okay.
I'm going to show you a trailer for a VR video game.
Okay.
Now, this, I think...
I think I've heard of this one.
Oh, you might have. You might have. I don't know if you've seen this.
I've not seen the trailer, but I think I know what... Okay.
You have an idea where this is going?
I have an idea where this is going.
All right, here we go.
Many people have attempted to write about the things that have taken place among us.
Again, this is VR, so like your first-person mode.
Yep, you're looking through a deserty area.
The Son of God, who wants to say...
What? Okay.
So what Nick is watching is a trailer for... I'm just going to talk over this because I can't hear what you're hearing, but he's watching a trailer for a movie where you are... The literal name of the game is I Am Jesus Christ, wherein you are playing as Jesus, healing people. Well, he's turning water into wine. You can run out of Holy Spirit energy, apparently. It's Okay, so this is a segment where he goes to heal a boy and he's like going inside his body.
Finalizing healing.
He's like manipulating the cells, or he's in the bloodstream or something.
I don't know. Oh, man. I have comments after this.
Why you want to save all those humans? They don't deserve that, and believe me that at the end, they will betray you and kill you.
So, yeah. The idea of a Bible VR game is not a bad one per se.
No, like you could do some neat, like, oh, this was like to be here. But okay, just when it says out of Holy Spirit, I'm like, it's not a mana bar. It's not again. That's
the Holy Spirit is not MP.
You have to go farm some Holy Spirit at your mana farm.
So, okay, we had to talk about this because it's not Christmas and it's somewhat belief related, but
some ways we talk about have faith is like, it's like a substance in which you have to have more of it.
Yeah.
And this, yeah. Okay.
So, in this game, you're literally playing as Jesus. Going through and
if you have magic glowing hands.
Yeah, I mean, if you ever played a VR game, you've got like the controllers and you're walking around as if you're the person. And we all want, as Christians, we want to be like Jesus. We don't want to literally be Jesus. I mean, anyone who, like, I have played Jesus as an actor before, and it's never something I would take lightly.
Yeah, and it's been taken lightly.
Yeah, I mean, way too. I mean. The weird thing about this is that if this was done by someone like, say, the South Park people, it would feel way more like crass or disrespectful or slanderous. The weird thing about this one is that it's got this like layer of respectability, like
it's like someone who wanted to treat it well, but they don't understand it.
Yeah, because the environments look nice. At least in the trailer, and I saw this in some article. I don't know how accurate this is. That it has like scripture references on the screen for like the stories that you're reenacting.
So, do you know who made this? Do you know like what they're, what did they make it just because they thought it'd be an interesting idea that they could get like Christians to buy it, or is it like literally like people who see it as an interesting story and they would just want to have you live through it?
I don't quite understand. I mean, I guess an article where they interviewed the guy. Let's see, what's his name? The developer is called Simula Maker. Yeah, probably like that. And Playway. Who's the guy they interviewed?
I mean, like, if you were just going to make like experience the life of the world of Jesus.
Yeah, that'd be one thing.
That'd be one thing, but this is like putting you in the role. I mean, it feels like in some ways you're just side questing the Gospels. Like you're just like, ooh, side quest with healing the blind man. You gained XP.
Yeah, I don't know. There's. I first heard about this through World.
That's why I had seen it come through that way. Yeah,
on the website.
Oh, I'd like get emails from the SIFT or whatever. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but I guess the website Vice have done the main interview with the CEO. I think it's someone from Europe somewhere. His name is Maxim Vysochansky or something like that. And Vice is not a conservative website by any means, and even they kind of recognize that this could be seen as kind of sacrilegious.
Yes.
And they asked about the potential for it to be mocked online, and the CEO said, well, we've kind of already had some of that problem with our trailers, because if you look at the YouTube comments, they're like, they're, you can imagine sort of the jokes that they'll make. But he said, somebody needs to make such a game. To which my response is, really? Do they? Do they really? I told this to Greg, and it's like that Thor meme where he's like,
Yeah, I guess it's just one of those things that like, well, Jesus is such a big deal in history. Someone has to make a game based on him.
Yeah, I mean, we have games where you can play as all kinds of other historical leaders. Why wouldn't you want to play as Jesus? Don't you want to be Jesus? Well, no, he's on a higher plane. That's not how religion works.
Oh man!
So it's a weird thing because you almost want to laugh at it, but it's so like borderline blasphemous.
Well, it is. It's like you always laugh because you can't take it. Well, you can take it seriously. Then you're like, this is wrong. But like when I was watching, I'm just like, I can't believe it out of Holy Spirit. I can't even like. It seems like something like you would do as a Like I could even see doing as like mocking video games or something.
Something the Babylon Bee would come up with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's
There's a section where you during the temptation section where you're battling Satan and like hurling energy balls at him or something, and you're like, what?
Well, I mean, it reminds me of. I mentioned here before, like this old. Well, I don't know when it was, but the Noah's Ark made a TV movie where there's also like Lot is in it, and like there's pirates, and you're just like, what Bible did you read?
We can spruce this up a bit. Let's
Make it a little more
pirates.
action oriented, yeah. Because Jesus often threw fireballs at things and went into. I mean, like trying to make game mechanics do things that are. Serious,
like you show him like a sequence where he's like force lifting some wood or something to help Peter catch fish. I think is the idea. It's like if you help these disciples catch enough fish, you'll be able to recruit them. That's no.
Changing it. I mean, it's problematic to make anything in real life into gaming, but then especially when you do it in such a kind of blunt matter with such a serious thing, it's. There's some tone deafness there somewhere.
Yeah, no, there really is. I mean, I guess if we were to tie this back into the belief idea here, it's taking the spiritual ideas but not understanding the weight or the truth behind them.
But I don't know if there's spiritual ideas. You're taking the outward actions and putting video game spirituality into it.
Yeah.
In some way. At least from the little bit the trailer showed. Yeah, that's I mean, I'd heard about it, I'm like, that's just weird. But the trailer made it
even weirder.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
All right.
So we'll move on from that. I mean, that is available on Steam, so it technically comes from the Intrawebs. So I figure,
yes.
It's like it's worth addressing.
Well, Tim, I feel so much more in the holiday spirit after that. The reason for the season.
Sorry, but we can move on from there to something more festive. How about a nice game of Challenge Accepted?
All right, Tim, you got a challenge for me?
I do, and I think you got something for me.
I have something we'll try. Yeah, I hunted down something as well since you had ideas here.
Sorry, folks, this is sort of a last-minute thing. But
well, it's Christmas. We're trying to get kids through school and presents wrapped and...
That's right. So I figured...
I have faith in you, Tim.
I just was doing some really quick web searching and found some quotes related to Christmas. Some of these are going to be from storytellers of some sort. Some of them will be actually from Christmas specials.
Characters in the Christmas specials?
Yes. Okay. So do kind of a mix of things.
All right, let's try this.
So here's your first one. I stopped believing in Santa Claus when I was 6. Mother took me to see him at a department store and he asked for my autograph. So this is an actress.
Okay.
Can you guess who said this? I stopped believing in Santa Claus when I was 6. Mother took me to see him in a department store and he asked for my autograph.
When I was 6. So it's a young actress. I don't know my actresses particularly well. I do not know.
I'll give you, there's a little bit of a hint in the fact that she went to a department store, which I guess there's still...
I mean, I figure it's older. I figure it'd be like...
store stopped being a thing.
No, I don't know. Walmart.
Oh, yeah, 90s, I guess.
Yeah. No, I figure it was kind of an older... I don't know my actresses well or how young some of them started. We're at the young, started pretty young for this.
Yeah.
It sounds like a Judy Garland sort of thing, almost.
You're kind of close in the time frame.
My brain's dying. What's her name? Cute little girl.
No, you're in the right ballpark here.
Yeah,
I think.
okay.
It's Shirley Temple.
Yes, thank you. I couldn't. My brain was okay. Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
Okay, so not really a point, but I'll give myself a half a point.
Half a point.
Okay.
I think that sounds fair. Okay, let's try this one. Man, if man you be in heart, not adamant, forbear that wicked cant until you have discovered what the surplus is and where it is. Will you decide what men shall live, what men shall die? It may be that in the sight of heaven you are more worthless and less fit to live than millions like this poor man's child. Oh God, to hear the insect on the leaf pronouncing on too much life among his hungry brothers in the dust.
That is Ghost of Christmas Present from A Christmas Carol, talking about, I think, famine and ignorance or something like that.
Well, yes, you are definitely have the right character and the right book.
Maybe it's not that part.
It's not quite that far, but it is. He's rebuking him for his more famous line of, "If he be like to die, he had better do it and decrease the surplus population."
Okay, so it's not. It's a little before that, but yeah. Good line.
Yep.
But not a well-known line. That particular one.
That's true. That little paragraph I've just read, it goes into a bit more detail. Okay, this one will be much shorter in comparison. Bernard Shaw, I strongly suspect, began to disbelieve in Santa Claus at a discreditably early age.
Bernard Shaw. What's up with Bernard Shaw? Is this just a person?
This is a person who said this.
It's not from
an author. It is a author. So,
a author. Sounds like
I'm not sure. I'm not familiar enough with George Bernard Shaw to know if he's a contemporary or not.
Yeah.
But also,
I'm going to just say Chesterton.
You are correct.
Okay. Actually, I think he harasses Shaw a lot, actually.
Okay. Yeah. So good job. You guessed just from general Chestertoniness.
It is. It sounds very. Yes.
Okay. Here's your next one. What is that? What is that I hear? Where's it coming from? I hear a siren, but I don't see any fire. I don't see any smoke. Whenever there's a siren, it means there's a fire, but I don't see any smoke. That siren. Where is it coming from? Where is that sound coming from?
I feel like I should know this one, but I really don't.
This is from a Christmas movie.
Well, yeah, I had that idea, but where's that siren coming from? Is it a good Christmas movie?
No.
Okay. I was leaning that way as well, but is this a Miss Ryan's Theater Christmas movie?
Close.
Is this 20 questions?
It wasn't originally, but apparently it is now.
I don't know though. It has that feel, but I can't pin the.
You're gonna kick yourself.
I am. Oh wait. Is that Santa Claus Ice Cream Bunny?
That is Ice Cream Bunny.
That's the train, the fire engine.
Yes.
What does he say? All of that?
According to some website, I searched for Santa and the Ice Cream Bunny quotes, and that was one I found. So it was like,
there's not many good quotes in that movie.
No, it's just rambling. It's just Santa rambling. Probably like
that's most of the movie.
Yeah, probably just ad-libbing all that. I bet that's not actually a written line.
The only movie with worse lines is Roller Gator.
Okay, here's your next quote. Frozen meals are bad for me, especially chocolate.
Frozen meals are bad. I don't know. The only thing that sounds like, again, this is going to have the audience will hate me because I haven't seen it lately. Is it Elf?
No, it is not.
I just know that he eats chocolate all the time though, so I don't know why I said that.
There's not as many clues in this one as the last one, probably, because it's a lot shorter.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the clue in the last was the word siren.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was so rambly.
Yeah. No, yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't know whether you know this one or not, but this one is from another MST3K.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know. No, I have no idea.
Okay. Did you ever see... this is not going to be helpful, but the movie is just called Santa Claus, but in some versions it's called Santa Claus versus the Devil or something like that. I think,
have I seen that one? I've heard of it. I've seen couples. I think I've seen it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That line is like from this demon who Satan basically threats, like, if you don't do this, you'll have to eat nothing but chocolate ice cream. And it's like, no, it's so bad for me.
Oh, okay. This sounds vaguely familiar.
Okay. But anyway, I think that was five quotes from me. So.
All right, Well, I just found this website that says, "Can you name the Christmas song from the lyrics?"
Okay.
At first, I thought some of these would be like super obvious. I read this one, and I'm like, either I don't know my Christmas songs, which is partly true, or it's hard.
Okay.
So we'll see here. Okay,
right.
So here's the line. There's multiple choice.
Okay.
So here's the line: "A crowded room, friends with tired eyes. I'm hiding from you in your soul of ice."
Wow. Say that again.
"A crowded room, friends with tired eyes. I'm hiding from you in your soul of ice."
Wow. Okay. So then there's multiple choices.
Yeah. So we got Last Christmas, Sleigh Ride, Lonely This Christmas, or Underneath the Tree. These sound made up to me, but
I mean, it's pretty depressing. What were the last two?
Lonely This Christmas and Underneath the Tree.
Let's go with Lonely This Christmas.
Yeah, let's click and see. Nope. Last Christmas.
Oh, okay. I've heard of Last Christmas, but I don't know it that well. I think I just know the chorus.
Okay.
It is a sad song too.
Okay.
Like, last Christmas I gave you my heart.
Oh, okay, that one. Okay, yeah. Next, number 2. Can't make it all alone. I've built my dreams around you.
Okay. So far, these all sound like codependent Christmas song.
Well, I'm reading through this. I'm like, are these Christmas? Like, normally I think Christmas songs like more traditional, kind of churchy ones, and these are like, I obviously don't listen to enough Christmas music
Or pop music of some sort. Yeah.
So, can't make it all alone. I've built my dreams around you. Is that Santa Tell Me? What Christmas means to me? Fairy Tale of New York or Blue Christmas?
Say those again.
Santa Tell Me. What Christmas means to me? Fairy Tale of New York, Blue Christmas.
I'm gonna go with Fairy Tale of New York just because I don't know this at all. And
You are correct.
yay!
Wow, impressive guessing.
Yeah, the first one sounded more cheery than the lyric did. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure my logic holds up there, but it works.
Number 3. There's a world outside your window, and it's a world of dread and fear.
Wow. What in the world? I'm glad I went first.
I love these. All right. There's a world outside your window, and it's a world of dread and fear. Is it Happy Xmas? War's over. Do they know it's Christmas? Stay another day. Please come home for Christmas.
Okay, yeah, I've not heard of any of these.
I've heard of one of these.
I'll just pick a number out of a hat. Number 1.
No. This is what I thought it was. Do they know it's Christmas? That's that like infamous one that like they make fun of because it's about like Africans. Do they know it's Christmas?
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like really horrible.
Wow. From the like 50s?
Probably,
or
no, I think
30s?
it's like supposed to be like a big like help.
Oh, like
sort of
helping international sort of thing.
thing, but
it didn't. It felt
that's
pretty flat.
that's my memory. We might have to look it up after this, but it struck
Okay.
me as one of those that like no, don't do that. Okay, 4. Take care in all you do next year and keep smiling through the days. So get a little
Yeah.
nicer.
Yeah.
Okay, the Christmas song, Mary's Boy Child, or Oh My Lord. I guess that's 2 names for it. Mistletoe and Wine, or Step into Christmas.
What's the lyric again?
Take care in all you do next year and keep smiling through the days.
Okay. What were the last 2?
Mistletoe and Wine and Step into Christmas.
Let's go with mistletoe and wine.
You're incorrect. It was Step into Christmas. I think the clue there was that take care next year, like you're stepping, like it's moving forward. Maybe.
Okay. Yeah, I thought maybe just the new wine thing made me think kind of a New Year's
Yeah,
thing.
that's true. So it's interesting. I feel like some people work at businesses where they have like Christmas songs 24/7.
Yeah.
And like Hayden Hanna used to be that way, but I don't listen to many of the non-super traditional ones anymore. So yeah. Okay, here we go. These are weird. Now the frosticles appeared and they've frozen up my beard.
Okay, I kind of like that one. Okay.
Now the frosticles appeared and they've frozen up my beard. I don't know who picked these lines out of these words, but anyways.
That's a
here's-
funny one, at least.
I saw a mommy kissing Santa Claus.
No.
Do you hear what I hear?
No.
I wish it could be Christmas every day.
No.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
That one.
All right. It was I wish it could be Christmas every day.
Really?
Apparently. Do we want to call foul on this? Let's try this. Unless it's like some random verse no one knows.
I mean, I guess that's possible. I mean,
Yeah, it is. I wish it could be Christmas every day by Girls Aloud.
oh,
But maybe it's a very different one. Or Nick Lowe sings it too, I guess. I don't. Various people sing it. But yeah, apparently it's a thing.
I've never heard that lyric. I mean, I guess, I mean, I know that there are different, like the original version of Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas has some much more depressing lyrics in it that I don't think wound up making, because that's originally from Meet Me in St. Louis. And it's It's kind of a sad song the way it's originally done, but some of the lyrics have been changed to make it more cheerier.
You know, if you'd put these lyrics together, most of them you would never even guess they're Christmas songs. Like, I think you could make a whole, like, new song out of these.
I can see that.
Like, these are like story starters. Like, there's a world outside your window is full of a world of dread and fear. Anyways, you want to give me a few more, or what's our time?
Let's do 2 more each.
Okay, give me a few. Yep.
Okay, I got one. I'm going to modify it a little bit to take out the name that would give it away.
Yes, go for it.
All right. Over the years, he has talked about one person more than any other, a legendary hero who has saved countless lives. We could give him to him as a present. Or we could give this hero to him as a present to make that a little
Here
clearer.
to him as a present. I feel like they're either
This is from a Christmas special.
Okay. It's either like they're going to kidnap Santa for some reason, or like Toy Story Christmas. What are that?
No,
Okay.
not either one of those.
Okay.
I will give you a hint. This is a very recent Christmas special.
A very recent Christmas special.
Yes.
Like super recent. So recent I might not have seen it yet, as in like 2 weeks ago. Okay, I'm going to just get... Okay. My 20 questions. So is this Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special?
This is the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
That sounds... Now that I think that, I'm like, that quote sounds completely in line with that.
Yes, that's...
Have you seen it?
I have seen it.
Is it worth watching?
It is worth watching.
Okay, it came on, I'm like, I need to watch that, and then it got lost. Yeah,
you kind of forgot about it. Yeah, it's easy to do. But no, it's well, I mean, it's like 45 minutes. It's like basically an hour special.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
It's
well, that quote makes me want to watch it more.
Yeah, it's well worth it.
Okay. Cool.
I mean, I could have said the person they're talking about is, of course, Kevin Bacon.
Okay.
Because that whole thing is
that's hilarious.
About them wanting to bring Kevin Bacon out in the galaxy.
That's hilarious.
Okay, one last one.
Okay, let's try this.
This is again from a Christmas special. Where we come from, this is small talk.
Oh, I know that one. That is the Family Muppet Christmas when they're talking about what letters start with things.
Yes, Muppet Family Christmas. The Sesame Street characters are talking to Doc from Froggle Rock.
That's pretty funny.
Being like, did you know that Doc starts with letter D? Why, yes. Yes starts with letter Y. True. And true starts with letter T. What is this? Where we come from, this is small talk.
It's funny, the things they know and the things they don't know right there. Like I can catch that one and Charles Dickens right off the bat. And the other one's like, I don't know.
Well, yeah.
That's funny. That's just funny that I haven't seen that for a couple of years, but.
Nice. Good job.
Yeah.
All right. You got two more.
Okay. I'm going to give you one that's a little more, I think, natural.
Okay.
And then maybe I'll find a weird one. Okay.
Okay.
Dolls that will talk and go for a walk is the hope of Janice and Jen.
Okay.
Is it White Christmas? Little Drummer Boy, One More Sleep is beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
The last one. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
Finally, yes. Very good.
I knew that one.
And this will just be this seems just very strange. Okay, last one. If I get home, live to tell the tale, I run for all the presidencies.
Okay, that's not where I thought that phrase was going.
Okay, I'll read one more time. If I get home, live to tell the tale, I'll run for all the presidencies. It's either it's the most wonderful time of the year, stop the cavalry, have yourself a merry little Christmas, wonderful Christmas time.
Okay, the problem with Wonderful Christmas Time is no one knows anything about that song except for that stupid repeating chorus. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. What they sing the rest of that song, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But still, for just pure bizarreness, I'll go with the second one.
Stop the Cavalry?
Yeah, since I've never heard of that.
You are correct. What is Stop the Cavalry?
I don't know. It sounds like a time travel Christmas song or something.
Okay, let's see. Stop the Cavalry. It was number 3 on the singles chart in Britain in 1980s. So yeah, it says, hey, Mr. Churchill comes over here to say we're doing splendidly, but it's very cold out here in the snow, marching to and fro from the enemy. So it's like World War II war Christmas song that came out in the 80s.
Okay. It sounds like something that some musician on Overclocked Remix would come up with.
Yeah. Oh, Mary Bradley waits at home in the nuclear fallout zone, where she could be dancing now in the arms of the girl I love.
Oh, my.
Bang goes another bomb on another town while the Tsar and Jim have tea. If I get home, live to tell the tale, I'll run for all the presidencies. Wow. Things you learn on the internet.
Yes, indeed.
All right. I guess that's challenge accepted.
That's right. I like how I had some, I didn't go too crazy. I mean, there was all things you'd heard of before.
Yeah.
You found a quiz that had some really obscure stuff in it.
It was weird.
So, yeah, that's fun.
It's funny. Christmas is one of those times where there's the things everyone knows, and then there's a lot of strange things exist in the movies and books and yeah.
Yeah, people trying to tell interesting stories, and you're not always guaranteed which things are going to stick with people and which things aren't.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thing. I mean, if you are managed to get into that tradition of, we have to watch this every year, then you're set.
Yeah.
But all right, folks. Well, we hope you enjoyed this Christmassy second half of the episode, or at least part of the second half of the episode. We've done interesting little Christmas contests like this before in past episodes. Last year, I think we did a challenge accepted where I played excerpts of Christmas specials for Nick.
One year we had my whole family involved in some sort of challenge.
Yeah, we wrote elevator pitches based just on the titles of some obscure Christmas specials and see whose was the most fun. So check those out on our website, derailedtrainsofthought.com, where you can find all of our past episodes. And subscribe to us on Stitcher and Spotify and Apple Podcasts to make sure you don't miss a single episode that we have. And of course, our other podcast, Let's Finally Watch This, is wrapping up, as we mentioned before. And Weekly Hijack, nothing going on with there right now, but
if you're interested in Once Upon a Time, there's lots of seasons of it.
That's true. And Weekly Hijack might be coming back sometime early next year.
I think you can look forward to a new essential
series
that we needed to cover.
Yeah, new TV classic.
Yes, classic.
So we'll tease that for now. Meanwhile, let's pull up my soundtrack here. I've got a remix from the game Aquaria, which is an indie game that I've never played. Have you ever played this one?
No, or maybe I played a demo of it, but no, not really.
Okay, it's from 2007, so it was a while back. But this remix is called Prayer for the Azure Waters. So prayer, that ties into belief. And it has kind of a wintry vibe to it. I guess the original song it's remixing is called Icy Waters. So there's that winter Christmas vibe to it, kind of warm and calming. This is by Ryan Davis Music, and I hope you will enjoy it. But meanwhile, Nick, I think we are getting close to something. There's a lot of excitement with these kids around here.
Cool. We're done just in time, I guess.
Yeah, that's awesome. I hope wherever we're headed, I hope it's nice and warm, and that will be a good place to celebrate the holidays.
I'm sure it will be.
Yeah. So thank you, folks, for listening. We hope you have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Until next time, this is Tim.
This is Nick.
Bye-bye.
Feliz Navidad.